Welcome to the second installment of this thing we're doing. I'm Alejandro, and this is
Bob.
Bob. So,
Bob.
I keep trying to get into the serious things. I think it's gonna take us like 4 or 5 episodes to get into the serious things, but we're here taking our coffee fix for the day. Okay, let's go back. Bob and I traveled to Europe a couple of months ago, and it was really, really funny. The highlight of our trip was that we were going to Starbucks and ordered coffee, and they ask you for your name, right?
Yeah.
So what's your name? Oh, Alex, because I'm not gonna say Alejandro every time, nobody will get it, so I cut it down to Alex. But Bob says...
I've never had to shorten my name to make it simple.
Right.
Bob, I would think is universally easy to get, but it got weirder every time I ordered coffee.
We went 3 times to Starbucks. The first time it was,
Yep.
I have it here,
It's Bob, that's it.
Pab. Like, okay, you can get Bob to Pab, right?
That could work, yeah, if Bob is a name I just don't know about.
Right.
But
And this was in-
whenever they would say, repeat something to me, I would just say yes, whatever. And
So
so
what's
it
your name?
was
You said
Bob. Bob, I got Bob. And then the next time, what's your name? Bob. Well, I'm like, yes. And then the cup comes Guan. G-U-A-N. It's like, wow, that's even weirder. This is fun. And then the third time, what's your name? Bob. Okay. And then the cup comes and it said Keith? Yeah, it said Keith. It's like, and it was nobody else there. It's not like I got the wrong cup.
No, the
They
wrong
heard
coffee.
Keith from Bob.
Like you just said, oh, is this for Bob? Yeah, Keith. No. Yeah, that was weird. And I told Bob that this is a thing. There's actually in Starbucks, it's famous. I'm addicted to Twitter, so I'm always on Twitter. By the way, my handle is @lavx, and your handle is
RWK.
RWK. And I told Bob that on Twitter this was a trending thing. Like a year ago, was your Starbucks name.
Yeah.
By the way, just to make this interactive, go to the comments, please. The comments down below or somewhere around here, and leave us your Starbucks name. What's your real name? What you tell the baristas, and what they put on your cup.
I wouldn't know that's a thing because my name's so simple. I've never experienced it, but
you got it.
It sounds like a thing. I believe you.
It is a thing. It's
Well,
a thing.
it's a thing.
It's like this thing. We're doing a thing here, right?
Thing.
So let's get into the serious stuff. We promised in the first episode of this thing that we were gonna get serious on what's your claim to fame, Bob.
Okay.
So what's your claim to fame? Is it?
It's probably AppDeploy.
AppDeploy, okay.
That was my first big project where I had an old school BBS where people would call up computers one-on-one.
Okay.
Like, so kind of been wanting to do that type of thing for a while. So the internet came around. I had a music site, just a bunch of crap on it, and then, but the idea of having a site is something I really wanted to do. Like later, I wanted to write a book, and I got to do that. I wanted to have a site, and I didn't know what it was going to be, but my professional career, I was an SMS guy, systems management server, the old
Which is System
SCCM.
Center now, right?
Yep, and how to silently install this app and that app. There weren't places you could really go to talk about it. There was no community. There was no big, Stack Overflow or Quora or big system like Reddit where people are having all these different conversations. So I created AppDeploy, and it was just a forum that talked about application deployment and systems management. I would do brief write-ups on the different products that were out there around systems management. And it took years of it just being there and answering questions myself. And then eventually other people came and started answering each other's questions, and I took a step back and was more of a moderator.
Okay.
And then at
Did you
some
have a team,
point,
or was it just you?
it was just me, and it was after hours. So, and I wasn't a developer. So I wrote this thing, in ASP, which is basically VB script.
Okay.
I understood some basic scripting. So the idea was to, have a single sign-on where you could be in the forum and you could submit tips about different applications. And it snowballed and eventually got quite big. And because it wasn't a Flexera property or Dell property or or case property at the time, everybody was comfortable recommending it.
Okay.
So all the systems management products out there, their number one support question would be, well, how the heck do I silently install Adobe Reader?
Okay.
And they don't want to answer those types of questions. So everybody was being pointed to AppDeploy as the place to have that conversation and get that kind of support at a peer-to-peer level.
So it seems like you created a community of people
that
were comfortable enough to share knowledge. It was kind of like a
very sharing.
Yeah, like what vendors do today with communities, but it's narrow to the vendor, and you did something wider.
Yeah. So all the vendors would recommend it, and that's how it got so big. And then eventually, I had a couple of acquisition conversations with different companies that didn't go very well.
Okay, but hold on. That means that you were making some money. You were monetizing that.
Yeah, I was. So I had a paid subscription to the site. You could sign up for. It was basically a DVD.
Okay.
And on that DVD was an offline copy of the site with a tool that I had written to index it all.
Okay.
Because I worked in a secure environment where I didn't have internet access, so I really appreciated TechNet, which was Microsoft's kind of offline knowledge-based system. Mm-hmm. So I kind of copied that concept and wrote my own. So I had all the posts on AppDeploy and articles on AppDeploy as basically KB articles.
Okay.
And then you could search and bookmark and find what you were looking for. And then I started recording video content and presentations for how to do certain things on the topic as well, and then made those exclusive to the subscription.
Okay.
And you could buy one, or you could get a 6 or 12-month subscription.
That's so funny.
And it started getting big enough where I would sit down, at the end of the month, and I'd literally hurt my back putting DVDs in boxes. I had a little robot that would, make the DVDs, because I was doing.
And put it in the box.
Yeah,
Nice.
I was doing probably 60 or 70 discs by the end of it.
Wow.
When I was eventually acquired by Case, they wanted the knowledge base. They were willing to license that, but then when I met with them, I'd already reviewed their product, and I thought it was really cool.
Okay.
They have a systems management appliance, which is geared towards the mid-market. So it's much.
Case? Like
Case.
K-A-C-E?
K-A-C-E. So it was K-A-C-E, Case. They were acquired by Dell, and then then they got sold to Quest. So now it's the
Quest Software, the legacy thing?
Yeah, they were Quest Software. They took that name back.
Okay.
So now they're Quest, just Quest.
Okay.
But
So hold on. So you created a community.
Yeah.
You monetized it.
Yeah.
You were in acquisition talks.
yeah,
That's the dream come true of any entrepreneur.
it was great. And that was really my dream too, because I was working long days in DC, commuting 2 hours some days, kind of not the best times.
Yeah.
And then AppDeploy was getting popular. So my real goal was, wouldn't it be great if I got acquired and I got to do this as my full-time job?
Right.
And then
How many
that
people or
happened.
visitors did you get every month? Or?
It was up to 500, 600,000 month.
Okay,
by then.
hold on. You made a pause there, and I think, 500, 600, that's respectable. 1,000?
Thousands.
600,000 people a month?
Yeah,
Wow. So
And
that's your claim to fame.
that's my claim to fame. That's what most people know me for. Then people knew me as the guy that ruined AppDeploy.
Okay.
Because after the acquisition,
What acquisition?
after Case was acquired by Dell,
Okay.
the site was very popular. I had a lot of other hats I was wearing at the time, but it basically afforded me the opportunity to get resources to rewrite AppDeploy.
Okay.
And so we
So
did.
hold on.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great segue
Okay.
for a third episode. Because if we do this thing
Too long. Yeah.
too long, you're not gonna see it, and you're gonna be bored. And
How could anybody be bored by this?
yeah, it's application packaging. This is the most exciting topic in the world. Guys, we'll be back in the next episode of this thing we're doing. And if you want to suggest a name, I have a name in mind.
I like
You-
things.
What?
I like things.
Things? I had a better name, and you totally. Yeah, if you want to suggest a name, please do so.
He's got lots of bad ideas for names.
Yeah, I
Please,
have a lot
please
of
suggest something better.
All right, cheers.